Can you tell the difference between a $3, a $15, and a $100 black tea?
I don't think I can.
And you guys? Let's find out. Pretty strong, eh? Ugh.
Not something I would drink at home for sure.
Whoa.
It's definitely for tea enthusiasts, similar to wine.
These pouch cost $100. This is nannuoshan. I'm Gabriele, and today with me
Is Emily.
Hi Emily, welcome to our little tea corner.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
We have not one, not two, but three black tea for you. And we will get started with an Irish breakfast. Do you know anything about Irish breakfast?
I don't.
Irish breakfast is a pretty bold black tea. It's usually even stronger than English breakfast. So it's a very good tea to start the day and get a kick, let's say. And I'm gonna prepare it for you in Western style, which is a classic. Like you have been in London, right? Mm-hmm. So you're familiar with high tea and English tea. So it's they would prepare it over there. Just boiling water. In this case, we will use maybe 90 degrees water. We let it there for 5 minutes and then we start the taste.
Okay.
So, pretty dark, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a beautiful red color.
Cup for you. And have a sip and tell me what's the first thing that pop out to your mind.
Okay, let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers. The first thing I get is the bitterness.
Okay, so we have the same thought. It's pretty strong, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Very punchy, yeah. And one thing that you could do when you have this tea and for you it's a little bit overwhelming is not necessarily bad to just dilute it.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah, you can certainly do that. I did also some experiment myself, and when it was too strong, I would do it like that. But just keep in mind that the way I brew it is the way that they drink it up there in Ireland.
Okay. And where is the tea from?
It's a good question. It's usually Irish breakfast is a mix. So it's usually a mix from India and Sri Lanka blends. Sometimes they put also maybe a third tea from China, but it's always a blend. And as you've seen, the leaves are pretty chopped, right? It's very, very little pieces. So you really get all that strength. Anything else you can tell me about this tea? How do you like it? I mean, is it just too bitter or you can appreciate somehow?
Now that you added more water, it's definitely a better taste for me. And it does remind me of the English breakfast that I would have when I was in London, but it's just a little stronger.
Okay. So it's good that is that it should be, right? Irish breakfast, you expect. Sorry, I made it really too full, huh?
Yeah, it's okay.
So these would be, let's say, $3, €3 for a 50-gram pouch of tea. Just to give you a price reference, right? Yeah.
I would say it's a great option for an affordable tea.
Yeah, it's not too expensive. It's also not, honestly, the worst you can get, right? Just I don't have anything worse than this at home, but I'm sure if you go to the grocery down the road, you can find some tea bags that is even lower quality. This is still a loose leaf tea in a way, yeah. So it's the worst you can get in the loose leaf range. The next tea that I have for you is this one here. What do you think about this?
It's a lot different than the last tea. The leaves are a lot longer, less chopped, and the color is very beautiful.
Yeah, it's not that
Not
dark,
as dark,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. All these orange that you see on it is little hair, because those are buds, and the buds, to protect themselves, they have those leaves. So this is more in the range $15 for $15 for a 50-gram pouch. So it's like 5 times the price of the previous one.
Wow. Well, I'm excited to try it.
Let's do it. I will change the settings and then we'll get started. What about this color here? Is that
The
similar?
color is
huh?
pretty similar.
Yeah,
But
actually,
you
yes.
steeped it for a different amount of time.
Yeah, but also much more leaves and less water. So this is more the Chinese way, if you want.
Okay.
So it's more leaves, less water, and we brew continuously.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There's a huge difference.
What's the first thing you thought this time? Was bitterness?
No, I got a nuttiness. Similar to how I would describe a fine wine.
Really? Actually, I think, yeah, it's pretty good. I haven't drunk this tea for a while. It is a 2016. Next year turns 10 years old, the harvest, I mean. And is a tea that I sourced for nannuoshan back in 2016. So it's already sold out on the website.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a Dian Hong, which is a tea from Yunnan, a region in China. Yeah. You can tell also how the color did change, right? A little bit.
Oh, yeah, it looks much more brown now. It even smells delicious.
It's nice, eh? We can do, a second brew, and so you have some nuttiness. Let's see, you can take another sip and tell me if there is anything else you would associate this tea with. And if not, I can help you a little bit. And we see. Thank you. It's sweeter, yeah, in a way, with respect to the previous one. Yeah.
I do see that.
A malty sweetness. And it's maybe a bit cleaner in taste. Yeah.
I would agree. That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah. So what would you say? What is more worthy? The other one for $3 or this one for 15?
There is no question.
Really?
This one
This
for
one?
15.
So even 5 times more expensive, you think it's your money is better spent here?
I could drink this one every day.
Okay.
Can't say that about the last tea.
Okay, so this tea we could brew it for quite some time. Like we would probably do easily 6 brews, yeah, and maybe even beyond that. You can tell how the leaves are whole. I told you they are buds, so you have really to go and open the bud if you want to see the leaf. And it's very tiny, right? But they are whole. They are all picked by hand. Yeah, for you.
Oh, thank you. I will say on the second steep, it does taste a little more bitter.
Yes, it's a classic, especially the strongest aromatic and the more, let's say, easy taste come out first in tea. For some teas, many people like the first brew most. The interesting thing though here is that you can tune each brew and then the tea evolves with the different brews. So it's really a progression within the same tea without having to switch in a way.
Yeah. This bitterness definitely isn't as harsh as the first.
Yeah,
tea.
you have bitterness that is just bad bitter, and you have bitterness that is pleasant. I mean, coffee is bitter, but we all love it, right? It's there is bitterness and bitterness.
Yeah. Great tea.
Yeah, shall we move to the next?
Let's try it.
Okay, then we change the settings. Have you ever seen $100 tea?
I definitely have not.
Here you are. This pouch costs $100.
I'm excited to see what it tastes like.
How it looks like first.
It's a little less orange than the last tea. Definitely dark, and the leaves are long.
Let's see the taste. What about the color?
I think it's the lightest color yet.
But the brew was relatively long, eh? Like not shorter than, I wouldn't say shorter than the previous one.
Yeah, it was definitely a little longer. Now, is there a correlation between the color and the quality of the tea?
I wouldn't say so, no. Just by chance, actually, that is a little bit paler. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Tell me.
I think that it just tastes like a very mild tea to me,
Okay.
comparatively to the other ones. And I think that for me, that's a good thing.
It's a good thing. Okay. So you would say, let's go back to the first one. Bitterness.
Bitterness was the main
And
thing.
here?
No bitterness
No
at
bitterness. Okay. In the second one, it was relatively complex. Let's say, I would say, with respect to the first one, not bitter, but still in your face, right?
all. Yeah.
It's what about this?
This is very mild, and honestly, I get somewhat of a light floral taste as well.
Like nuances, let's say. Yeah.
Where did you get this tea from?
Oh, that's it's a long story. I'll try to make it short. A friend of mine runs a very boutique tea shop in Shanghai, and she told me that she loves this tea, but it's very pricey. And since I was traveling in Yunnan last year, she asked me to try to find something similar in taste that she could sell to her customer. And I brought back, I think, 9 different teas, all really pretty much upper class. And we did some side-by-side comparison. There was no comparison. And at the end, I ended up buying a pouch also for me.
Oh. And what makes it a $100 tea?
What makes it a $100 tea? So I would say it's, first of all, where it comes from. It comes from a forest. So this tea, it doesn't come from cultivated plant. It comes from old ancient tea trees that are hundreds of years old.
Wow.
And people have sometimes even to climb up the trees to pick the leaves. And it is all this effort behind it. And it makes it pretty unique because you don't have a lot of those trees. So that's the first thing. The second aspect is what taste come out of it. Because if you don't process it correctly, even if the origin, the trees are very precious, will be hard to sell, right? And here is a combination of the two things. And maybe something more that we will discover on the way. Let's see. Here you have the second brew. It's a bit warmer because now the cup is already hot.
Okay. Now, on the second brew, some bitterness does come in.
So it starts, like in the previous one, it starts developing also. Now, one thing that you could look into is think about the forest, okay, and the undergrowth. To me, this tea gets closer to that sensation, that fragrance in the air that you have in a forest than what we had before.
Yeah.
Right? So, as you said, it's milder, it's not in your face, but at the same time, it's not water, right? It's pretty complex,
Yeah.
it's very natural, right? That's how I perceive it, yeah.
Yeah, before you said that, I was even thinking the term woodsy, like from the forest. So I definitely got that flavor on the second brew.
Do you have some woodiness in a way? If that's a word, I don't know. But it's yes, it has that woody sensation. And yes, a little bit of bitterness comes out, but even subtler than the second tea in a way. Yeah, it's way more harmonized, and it feels, at least for me, it just feels good. You know, like for example, the previous one you said, yes, that's a tea I could drink a lot of. Yeah, but for me, it's tea that also at a certain point could even become a little bit too much. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it's like, I don't know, it's like overexposing my senses in a way. Yeah. And here is more a search for a taste. You know, you have to look into it. You have to relax and search for it. Yeah.
For me, it depends on how I would want to drink the tea. So, for example, with the second tea we drank, that's one that if I wanted to have a nice big cup of tea to start my work day, that's the one I would choose.
Yeah.
If I wanted to sit down with a friend and share some small cups, this one definitely has a lot more dimension.
Yes, yeah. That's also, for example, after dinner, when instead of going for a very nice whiskey, you take out these, right?
I think I would do that, yeah.
And I want to just, I mean, we will continue drinking this tea off the camera for sure, because I'm not gonna waste any gram. It's, I mean, we have like 4.5 grams inside this pot, and it's basically, I mean, price wise like $10, but still, you know, it's a price, right? You think about having something like that in a cafe, you probably pay, I mean, depending when you are, but if you go like in New York City, some of the tea houses there, they would charge you for a serving like this, like $70-$80. Yeah.
Wow.
So for me, in a nutshell, tea is a natural product. We always sometimes don't think about it, but when you drink a cup of tea, actually those leaves were on the tree, and this is what brings me closest to that aspect of the tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely taste that it comes from the earth.
Yes. Maybe a little bit of earthiness is also there. Yeah. Think also about the mouth feeling, how nice and smooth it flows between, you know, your teeth, and not necessarily because it has a special viscosity, but it's also with respect to the first one, it has that pronounced bitterness that you didn't want to keep it too long in your mouth, right? And this is like, it flows so well to me.
Yeah. I will say, I think I prefer it at the slightly lower temperature on the first brew. It's harder for me to drink when it's hot.
When it's too hot, yeah, I see. Yeah, but it is a good point. You definitely want to let it cooling down, also because your tasting buds perceive less taste when the brew is hot. So it doesn't make, some tea have to be brewed very, very high temperature, but then let them sit for a little while, not too long. Otherwise you get this layer on top, you know, this oily layer that it means that the brew starts reacting with the air. But a little bit to cool down, it's certainly good, yeah.
Honestly, I think I like this third brew the best.
And this is actually just the start. We could keep you here forever, but really this is a tea that, differently than the other one, is not that like the second one. The second brew a little bit disappointed you, yeah. This one, you know, this is just the start. It's just a matter of getting to know the tea better and better over each brew, yeah.
Well, I'm excited to keep drinking it.
Yeah, let's do it. And for you guys, we will see you at the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and to give us a like if you enjoyed watching.